Alright, for those of you that didn't watch the game, Game 5, here's my results video. Um, even on the home ice, Milwaukee pulled off a victory. They beat us 5-4. When I say we were close to winning and we let it slide through, but I'm not an Admirals fan, but I'll give Milwaukee their props. They said it couldn't be done even with the home field, so they did it anyway. With the momentum that we had going into the game, Milwaukee turned it around and they took us down a couple of notches and beat us on our home ice. But that's just one of the things you got to look forward to. And it's not every time you go to your home stadium or home crowd or whatever, and you always win. That doesn't always work, and I know that. So I gotta say to Milwaukee, congratulations, you beat my hometown on our home ice. But we'll be back. We got Game 6. Hopefully that's the final straw here. Then we go on to face whoever wins, I believe, between the Texas Stars and the Rockford Ice-Hogs. Me personally, I'd like to see Chicago and Texas, but I don't know who's going to win. If I had to take a guess, I'd say maybe it'll be Texas. We'll see. I'm not all that familiar with the roster on the Admirals, so I'm only familiar with one guy. I think his name is Santorelli. I could be wrong, but if so, correct me on that. But anyway, at least who I thought the top 5 players on each team, regardless of the results, I'll post it in the description box. Santorelli, you deserve the number 1 spot there, at least for the Milwaukee list. You gave my hometown Wolves a hell of a show, and you were basically, at least from what I could see, one of the main guys who was the key factor and the driving force into the victory tonight. So congratulations to you. Now on to the Chicago Wolves, as I basically know their whole roster off the top of my head, or at least I'm still trying to, but I'm familiar with one person, more so, and he's on my number 1 list now. Chris Chelios, certified NHL legend and future first ballot Hall of Famer. Like it or not, he should have gone into the Hall of Fame maybe 12 and a half years ago, retired or not. This is a guy who, I believe in January of 2011, and January 25th, 2011, he'll be 49 years old. That's got to be incredible. And my math's correct, I believe he was born in 1962. Yep. He's 48 and a half right now, so January 25th, 2011, Chris Chelios will be 49. I don't see him retiring anytime soon either. But like him or hate him, Chris Chelios, he's one of the greatest players, at least in my view, one of the greatest players who have ever played the game. Basically a guy who I like to think is one of those guys who says age isn't a factor. Age isn't a factor, and it doesn't make much of a difference as long as I can still lace up my skates and play hockey. That's all that matters. Like look at Shaquille O'Neal, for example. For another example, Shaquille O'Neal in basketball. I remember when I was a little kid, I remember seeing him play. And I said for a report, I said sometime in the 2000s, anywhere between 2001 early into mid 2002 or something. He'll probably retire because of different health problems that he's had or whatever. But here we are. Here we are in 2010, and Shaquille O'Neal's still going. Another future first ballot Hall of Fame, released in the NBA, but I'll get into that later. Chris Chelios tonight. He was flying up and down the rink like no tomorrow. He's one of the guys who, if you ever want the definition of passion, desire, heart, and guts, look no further than my own backyard and look for a guy named Chris Chelios. Even if my girlfriend were here right now, she would agree with me on that. It was our number one player, at least in the Chicago Wolves, is Chris Chelios. Same for the Blackhawks too. It was when he started playing for the Blackhawks. I was 1.5 at the time, but I'll do a little Chris Chelios tribute video later. I just wanted to get a little reason as to why I put him in the number one list. But anyway, look for my Chris Chelios tribute coming up within the next couple weeks or so. Excuse me. Number 2, Johnny Phol. He was, excuse me again, he did pretty good. He made a couple saves here, maybe sunk a goal or two there. I don't really remember how many he made, but if in fact he did make any goals, I'm not really sure what number they were. But Johnny Phol, number 2 on my list. I thought he was pretty good. Tim Stapleton. I thought he was on fire. Anytime there was enough space on the rink to go after the puck, Stapleton was on it. Knocked a couple of guys into the wall, which I thought was pretty funny. And every time he crashed into them, they went down like a ton of bricks. If you want a perfect example of a one-man wrecking machine, look no further than Tim Stapleton. He did pretty good. My girlfriend's number 2 player. He's my number 4 on my list. Matt Anderson, number 14. At least I think is his number. He was good tonight also. And I'm tied between Jason Crabb and Joey Crabb. Who should get the number 5? I thought Crabb was pretty good. Me personally, I think Joey Crabb was more of a help than Jason Crabb. He did pretty good in the last game, but I got about a minute and maybe 35 seconds left. I don't want to make this video too long. I'll post the star players in the description box, so feel free to subscribe. And also, on a final note, I got an email, one of my videos, I said Derek McKenzie, who used to play for the Chicago Wolves, who was number 25. Somebody emailed me and said that he used to wear number 24, and my girlfriend verified that because she has one of his Wolves jerseys. So Derek McKenzie, number 24, not number 25. So I wanted to get that out of the way real quick before I ran out of time. So feel free to subscribe, tune in to Game 6, and I will talk to you all later.